fix it was me.
He's regarded as the richest person ever to occupy the White House.
For Donald Trump, how important is money?
He was a businessman from a young age. It's 100% of his DNA.
Members of the Trump family.
Now, as the world's most powerful leader, Donald Trump's wealth and that of his family is skyrocketing.
Their net worth has increased by billions of dollars.
Hello, Bitcoiners. Thank you very much. It's good to be with you.
There are new crypto ventures delivering hundreds of millions to the Trump family
We're embracing the future with crypto.
and giving investors access to the president.
I just got to the Trump dinner. His helicopter was right back there.
We're honored to be working on helping everybody here.
It was explicit. If you give me and my family more money, you can access the most powerful person in the world.
Around the world, there are new Trump-branded developments underway. Golf courses, resorts, office towers.
He's collecting hundreds of millions of dollars through these businesses. It's an outrageous conflict of interest.
The White House insists the president is doing nothing wrong.
The president is abiding by all conflict of interest laws that are applicable to the president. It's absurd for anyone to insinuate that this president is profiting off of the presidency.
Critics say Donald Trump's mixing of business and politics violates the US Constitution and threatens the very foundations of American democracy.
How can the public be confident that those personal interests aren't clouding his loyalty to the public interest?
At the heart of this story is the integrity of the highest office in the land. And as accusations of profiting from the presidency grow, our investigation has brought us here
We actually make money, but I don't
to seek answers from the president himself.
President Trump, how much wealthier are you now than when you returned to the White House?
Where are you from?
I'm from the Australian Broadcasting Corporation Four Corners program.
In my opinion, you are hurting Australia very much right now.
But President Trump...
Quiet.
Nashville, Tennessee. A place where Dolly Parton, Johnny Cash, Taylor Swift and many other American legends have graced the stage. Tonight, America's country music capital is in full swing. But music is not the only magnet drawing the young and the restless to town.
Hey, Lauren.
John.
John Lyons.
Welcome to
Nice
the Bitcoin Museum.
Thank you very much.
Nashville is becoming one of America's crypto hubs.
So as you can see here, a lot of differentiated artwork, a lot of unique paintings from many folks who are focused on the Bitcoin space.
The Bitcoin Museum pays homage to the digital asset's anti-establishment roots. It's also a shrine to Bitcoin's future, one that's been given an enormous boost by President Donald Trump.
This is the executive order on the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve signed by President Trump.
And what does that mean?
Really, it's the adoption of taking Bitcoin as a reserve asset for the U.S. government and you know, eventually leading to potentially a stockpile of that. And so we have a gold reserve and now the formation of a Bitcoin strategic reserve.
So that piece of paper and that signature of Donald Trump's probably the biggest boost Bitcoin's ever had.
I would say so. I'd say it's really helped to move Bitcoin into the mainstream.
Whatever the hell you do, you did a hell of a job. But as well as all of the Bitcoin luminaries and legends here, you have legends in this room.
It was in Nashville in 2024 that the then presidential candidate first declared his support for crypto.
Hello, Bitcoiners. Thank you very much. Hello. It's good to be with you. It's good to be with you.
Speaking before thousands at an annual conference of Bitcoin devotees, Donald Trump made it clear a vote for him would be a vote for a crypto-friendly administration.
I pledge to the Bitcoin community that the day I take the oath of office, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's anti-crypto crusade will be over. It will end. It'll be done. It'll be done.
I think there was a sense of excitement. I think the prior regulatory administration, all of that, there's a lot of enforcement that was happening without much clarity on how to navigate.
I'm proud to be the first major party nominee in American history to accept donations in Bitcoin and crypto. And they've made a lot of them, I might tell you.
Donald Trump's appearance at that crypto event marked quite a turnaround. The Trump family had made its fortune from tangible assets, real estate, resorts, casinos.
Bitcoin, it just seems like a scam. I don't like it because it's another currency competing against the dollar. I want the dollar to be the currency of the world. That's what I've always said.
But returning to office has dramatically increased scrutiny of the family's business activities and raised concerns that there's a blurring of lines between the personal and the political. Donald Trump, the businessman, was famous for property developments such as this in New York. But an extraordinary meeting here in May 2024 began a dramatic change. For years, he'd been a crypto skeptic. But after that meeting with the powerful crypto lobby began the conversion of Donald Trump. The meeting at Trump Tower was the culmination of a months-long campaign, spearheaded by leading Bitcoin advocate David Bailey.
We were sitting around and it's like, damn, if we could just get in front of Trump, like we could pitch Bitcoin to Trump and get him bought in on it, it'd be huge for Bitcoin.
Along with other crypto advocates, Bailey had honed a pitch for the presidential candidate.
There's also like the political calculus, like this is how many votes we think are out there. This is how much money we think we can raise around these different topics and stuff. Like Trump's like a entrepreneurial guy. So he's looking at this from the standpoint of like, not only like, how's it good for the US, but also like, how's it good from election prospects?
The crypto lobby's efforts were hugely successful. Not only did Donald Trump vow to create a favourable environment for the industry, but the presidential candidate and his family decided to start their own crypto venture.
Join me live on Twitter Spaces at 8 p.m. this September 16th for the launch of World Liberty Financial. We're embracing the future with crypto and leaving the slow and outdated big banks behind.
Just 7 weeks before the presidential election, Trump and his sons launched a new platform, World Liberty Financial. Their business partners included Trump confidant and now special envoy Steve Witkoff and his sons. Donald Trump was the face of the publicity campaign and was listed on the so-called gold paper as its chief crypto advocate. At that time, World Liberty Financial allowed people to invest through selling a token. 75% of the profit from each sale went to the Trump family. When Donald Trump re-entered the Oval Office, World Liberty Financial says he was removed from his role. The White House told Four Corners the president's personal assets are in a trust managed by his children and have nothing to do with his presidential decision-making. In mid-March this year, World Liberty Financial said it had sold $550 million worth of its token. We've estimated this has delivered the presidential family $390 million in revenue.
How do you assess President Trump's second term?
Speed, execution. I think what we've learned is, they said, in Jurassic Park, the T-Rex has learned how to open the door. President Trump has very much learned how to govern.
Brian Lanza is a former Trump advisor and communications director. He says the president is doing nothing wrong.
The president has to abide by U.S. law when it comes to businesses. That's normal. Now, there's no conflict of interest laws related to the presidency and the president, and so he's operating within that space.
There's a US federal law preventing executive branch officials from having financial conflicts of interest, but presidents and vice presidents are exempt. Eric Lipton is a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist. He's been following the Trump family's investments for a decade.
He's made a choice to run, for president, then to be elected and to serve as president. And traditionally, that means that you renounce your personal financial interests, then you only pursue the interests of the United States. And while there have been family members in the past, there have been members of the Bush family or the Carter family that did have outside interest, or the Biden family. I mean, never at this scale or intensity, and never with the kind of intersection with federal regulatory matters that the Trump family now has, particularly around cryptocurrency.
The crypto lobby was the most powerful and most influential in the 2024 elections. They were the largest corporate donor in 2024, accounting for almost half of those contributions.
During the Biden administration, Corey Freyer was a senior advisor on crypto to the then chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Gary Gensler. At that time, the regulator had taken enforcement action against a number of crypto businesses and individuals. The breaches ranged from money laundering to fraud and insider trading.
We tried to work with the crypto industry to bring them in, to do the things we would expect of any other financial industry, and they refused over and over again. And so we became very aggressive about enforcing the law.
On day one, I will fire Gary Gensler and appoint a new SEC chairman. From now on, the rules will be written by people who love your industry, not hate your industry.
Gary Gensler stepped down from the SEC on the day of the inauguration. The SEC's new chair, a Trump appointee, is a crypto advocate.
Trump and his family are interested in crypto for the same reason that a lot of crypto companies and a lot of crypto market players are interested in it. The transactions can be nearly anonymous. If you want to use your presidency to sell influence or just to make money, crypto is a great way to do that.
It's the end of May, and outside Donald Trump's golf club in Virginia, a protest has formed.
Tonight, behind these gates, Donald Trump is cashing in on the presidency and our democracy once again.
What a nice place. Did you get to see the helicopters?
Yeah.
Inside the club, the president is hosting a gala dinner for the top holders of the Trump meme coin, another of his family's crypto ventures. The meme coin was launched just 3 days before the inauguration. Meme coins are a form of crypto inspired by internet trends.
It's a very young industry. And
Most have no obvious practical use or guaranteed value.
I want to let you know that I'm with you all the way. Thank you very much.
But the Trump token would prove extremely profitable. By the end of April, the token had generated $320 million in trading fees. The bulk of this went to those behind the meme coin. This included the Trump family.
America is not for sale.
I'm always proud of much about America, but I'm not proud of a president who has deliberately opened up his office and said, buy my coins and I will give you access and influence. That is absolutely wrong from every possible direction, and we have to put an end to it.
Donald Trump has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho.
There were 220 people invited to the president's meme coin gala dinner. The young man driving this car was one of them.
So this is my first car, believe it or not. It's a 2023 Lamborghini Urus Performante. So Performante is like the special version.
So how does a 25-year-old end up with a car like this?
So I had a small business when I was younger, and I made about 6 figures from it. And from there, I came across crypto.
Nick Pinto got into crypto early, and he's made a lot of money from it. He's pragmatic about the president's various crypto ventures.
As long as I can profit from it, I feel like he can do whatever he wants. If there's a way for the average American to make money off of the president, I feel like it's okay.
Thank you.
So here we are, right? You're looking for your third Lamborghini.
Yeah.
What do you like?
This one's nice.
Nick Pinto was an early investor in the Trump token.
Look at that.
At the time of the dinner, he held around $370,000 worth. Nick Pinto has been trying to build a strong social media presence.
This is my number. I finally found myself on the leaderboard. Number 72, NP.
United States of America.
At the gala dinner, he had one main goal.
Made your lives miserable.
Going into this dinner, I was hoping to at least get a picture with Trump or actually do TikTok. So I was hoping to maybe do a trend or some short video with him, maybe like 15 seconds. It's not gonna take much of his time. I just got to the Trump dinner. Trump came, gave a speech for, I think, exactly 23 minutes. And then he left. His helicopter was right back there. Left pretty quickly, didn't stay for the dinner. Maybe he'll come back, you never know. Anyway, the food's coming out now, I gotta go. About 30 minutes after walking through the door, I realized there's no hope here. Trump already left. He came, didn't eat, didn't drink water. I don't think he even used the bathroom. He just left immediately on his helicopter.
It sounds like, from what you're saying, he came, he saw, and he left and made money.
I would say the entire dinner was about making money.
And you feel ripped off?
I would say, in a way, I do feel like I maybe kind of got scammed because it was definitely false advertising. They did advertise it as having dinner with Trump, and Trump did not eat anything at all. At least just drink a Diet Coke with us or something like that. We definitely would not have felt like we were scammed by him.
The biggest investor at the gala dinner was a Chinese-born entrepreneur, Justin Sun.
Really nice to be here today with like everybody in the crypto to witness this great moment of crypto.
Sun is a crypto billionaire, also known for buying a piece of conceptual art, a banana gaffer taped to a wall, for $6.2 million US, and then eating it. At the time of the dinner, Justin's son held around $22 million worth of the meme coin. He'd also made 2 investments in World Liberty Financial, totaling $75 million. His first just 3 weeks after Trump won the presidential election. The second the day before his inauguration. The World Liberty financial transactions alone delivered close to $50 million to the Trump family. At the time of his initial investments, Sun was being pursued by the Securities and Exchange Commission for allegations of civil fraud. But that was about to change.
Justin Sun was under prosecution by the SEC under Chair Gensler for fraudulent activity. Shortly after Trump took power, his case was paused.
His is not the only case that's been put on hold or dropped entirely.
We have seen crypto companies that were being prosecuted under the last administration are now entering into partnership with Trump's businesses and essentially receiving lenience.
World Liberty Financial is definitely, I think, one of the great examples, right? We can use World Liberty Financial to shape the world and really change the financial system. And
Justin Sun, seen on stage here with Eric Trump and World Liberty Financial co-founder Zach Witkoff, has recently committed to buying another $100 million of the Trump meme coin and a further $10 million of the World Liberty Financial token. He did not respond to a request for comment. Allegations of inappropriate conduct against President Trump have grown, but so too have the barriers to asking him a question. Access to presidential press conferences is limited to a small pool of reporters. This group used to be selected by an association of journalists. Now the Trump administration controls who's in and who's not.
TV, correspondents, and print reporters.
Those not in the official pool have to try their luck outside on the White House lawn when the president makes the short walk to or from the Marine One helicopter.
We've come here as part of this Four Corners investigation into President Trump and his family's money. We want to ask him a couple of very important questions. Firstly, how much wealthier is he now than when he was re-elected here 7 months ago? And how appropriate is it that the president is involved in so much business activity while in office? President Trump, we want to ask you about your business activities.
It was the end of a long day, and the president was not taking any questions. There's more to this story than allegations of payment for access or individuals receiving favourable treatment after investing in Trump-affiliated businesses. Questions are now being raised about the impact of the presidential family's business dealings on US foreign policy.
Our journey in search of the Trump family money has brought us here to the Washington Bureau of the New York Times. The Times has spent months investigating a $2 billion deal with the United Arab Emirates. The Times are about to have one of their final editorial meetings, and they've allowed us to sit in on
it. Sachs played an enormous role here and was given this special waiver by the
Journalist Eric Lipton is leading the investigation.
I think we can try to look at the structure.
It's interrogating if there's a connection between a $2 billion crypto investment and government negotiations about access to advanced AI chips.
Honestly, we really have almost all of it in hand. It's the largest crypto infusion in the history of crypto in a single transaction.
Talk soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
That was a very long call. Yeah. Interesting, right?
A powerful Emirati, Sheikh Takhnoun bin Zayed Al Nahyan, is at the centre of both the crypto investment and the AI chip negotiations. Sheikh Takhnoun is the deputy ruler of Abu Dhabi and the United Arab Emirates National Security Advisor.
Starting in around 2023, Sheikh Taknoon realized that if the United Arab Emirates was going to continue to remain relevant in the world, that it needed to transition from being an oil-driven economy. And they have a $1.5 trillion sovereign wealth fund. He began to talk to American officials about getting access to hundreds of thousands of the most advanced AI chips that NVIDIA and other companies designed that are just transformational technology.
Under the Biden administration, access to the chips was tightly controlled over concerns the technology might end up in the hands of China. With Donald Trump in the White House, the UAE saw an opportunity. In March, Sheikh Taknoon met the president. He also met US Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick, Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent, and Trump's special advisor on AI and crypto, David Sachs. In early May, the crypto investment was announced.
The government of UAE, through a company called MGX, agreed to put $2 billion into the Trump family's World Liberty Financial, money that it was transferring to Binance, the cryptocurrency exchange.
Sheikh Taknoon is the chair of MGX. The $2 billion investment in the Binance crypto exchange was made using a stable coin minted by the Trump-related World Liberty Financial. Stablecoins are a type of crypto that is pegged to real-world assets like the US dollar. For the Trump family, the transaction offered the possibility of lucrative returns from interest earned on the stablecoin reserves.
It's tens of millions of dollars that has effectively been going into the pockets of the Trump and Witkoff families and their business partners from that single transactions from the United Arab Emirates.
2 weeks after the $2 billion transaction, President Trump travelled to the UAE for an official visit.
Yesterday, the two countries also agreed to create a path for UAE to buy some of the world's most advanced AI semiconductors from American companies, a very big contract.
The US then announced it would allow the UAE to buy hundreds of thousands of NVIDIA's advanced AI chips. While there's no evidence that one deal was explicitly offered in return for the other, the timing is extraordinary.
Of course, the assertion was that they were not related and that they were coincidental, but they involved the same government officials and the same families that were benefiting.
What does all this mean for US foreign policy?
I think the problem is it creates questions about what is driving US foreign policy. This is a country that has spent decades trying to build a reputation globally that integrity in governance matters.
It's outrageous. It's absolutely outrageous, and the American people should be horrified that this is going on.
Virginia Cantor is one of America's foremost ethics lawyers. She's worked under both Republican and Democrat administrations, advising the US Department of Treasury and the Securities and Exchange Commission.
You have to ask yourself, why didn't the UAE state-backed investment fund called MGX just take their money and invest it directly in Binance? No, they didn't do that. They had a cutout. The cutout was the stable coin from the World Liberty Finance. It's expected to earn $80 million plus a year in interest. At the end of the day, what's simple is the American people expect their president to be representing the public's interests, right? You can't be confident of that because now this money is coming in and undoubtedly is influencing his official activity.
In his first term, Donald Trump made it clear that for him and his sons that there were limitations on their business activities, particularly, say, with foreign governments and foreign deals. Why do you think that's different in the second term?
Because it didn't matter the first term. The criticism was so overwhelming, even though they didn't have deals with foreign governments. They didn't do a lot of these deals. You still had the criticism from the media and from the left saying, criticizing what little they did do. So why put restrictions on yourself?
Wouldn't you think that if you're president, then you would put on hold, at least for 4 years, your business activities?
I think he did in the first term, and like I said,
but he hasn't in the second term.
But what was the point? He did in his first term. He got supremely criticized. He got subpoenaed. He incurred all these costs by trying to create this additional layer of separation, and all it did was just cost him money.
Even those within the Republican Party who are critical of Trump argue that his business activities are in no way a liability to his base.
The normal laws of political gravity just don't apply to Donald Trump in the way that they do for anyone else. For most voters, it is so factored in because they've known Donald Trump as successful businessman their entire lives, or half their lives. And so I think many Americans don't see a problem with this president enriching himself while in office.
The Trump family's mixing of business and politics extends beyond just crypto.
I look forward to playing it today. We'll play it very quickly, and then I go back to D.C. and we put out fires all over the world.
On a detour from an official trip to Europe and the UK in July, the president took care of business, opening a new Trump-branded golf course in Scotland alongside sons Eric and Donald Jr.
We're doing projects in Jeddah, we're doing projects in Oman, we're doing projects in Riyadh, we're doing projects all over.
The Trump Organization, the family's long-standing holding company now managed by the president's sons, has been expanding its portfolio.
We're doing projects all over the region. I'm doing a big hotel in Dubai as we speak. We're about to do one here in Abu Dhabi, which we're super excited about.
Since Donald Trump was re-elected, the Trump Organization has confirmed 10 new foreign developments.
The way that the Trump family's real estate ventures are growing currently is mostly through branding deals, where they sell their name and then other real estate developers put up the money to actually build them, and Trump's helped promote them. And sometimes if it involves a hotel or a golf course, they will be managed the hotel and the golf course, and they'll be paid fees for that.
Business and politics are intertwined in many of these projects. While Vietnam negotiated with President Trump over tariffs, Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh appeared alongside Eric Trump at a ceremony marking the start of a Trump-branded golf resort development in the country's north.
Một là góp phần thúc đẩy quan hệ của Việt Nam Hoa Kỳ ngày càng đi vào chiều sâu, thực chất và hiệu quả.
I'm honored to be the first American president ever to officially visit.
There also have been controversial gifts offered to the Trump administration.
I just want to thank you for the friendship, for the long-time friendship.
In the lead-up to an official visit to Qatar, Donald Trump indicated the administration would accept a used Boeing 747 as an unconditional donation by the Qatari government.
The government of Qatar, the Qatari family, has offered to donate this plane to the United States Air Force, where that donation will be accepted according to all legal and ethical obligations. This plane is not a personal donation or a gift to the President of the United States.
Just days later, the White House announced more than $240 billion worth of deals with the Gulf state.
With respect to the Qatari jet, they were also seeking access to technology, defense weapons, and also the lifting of sanctions against Syria. Trump gave them all three.
When a deal is done involving the president or his family with foreign governments, whether it's the UAE, Qatar, Vietnam, what do you think the foreign governments want in return for those deals?
Lower tariffs. Right? Isn't that what every government's engaging? I represent governments right now. They're all engaged in wanting lower tariffs.
Doesn't that get to the heart of the conflict, that at a time when perhaps, you know, Eric Trump is negotiating with Vietnam over a resort, at the very same time, his father is negotiating with Vietnam over what tariff there will be?
The whole world is negotiating, and the whole world is negotiating to enter, to figure out what the access fee is to get into the U.S. market. You know, your implication that they're tied together, I've seen no evidence of that. I find it hard to believe that Don Jr.'s and Eric's business deal is going to be the deciding factor in these things.
The White House strongly rejects the suggestion that Donald Trump is enriching himself through his office.
The president is abiding by all conflict of interest laws that are applicable to the president. It's absurd for anyone to insinuate that this president is profiting off of the presidency. This president was incredibly successful before giving it all up to serve our country publicly.
Critics say even if there are no quid pro quo deals, the president's business activities fit within a broader definition of corruption, one in line with that used by both the World Bank and Transparency International.
The classical definition of corruption is the exploitation of public office and public power for private gain. So when you look at the Qatari plane, the $2 billion World Liberty Financial investment in his, where he has a stake in the crypto industry, the auctioning off access to those who purchase his meme coin, they're all about Donald Trump using his office, the official nature of the presidency, public office, for his private gain instead of for serving the public interest.
Corruption's a big word. I want to be very clear. You are saying that President Donald Trump is corrupt.
He is the most corrupt president that we have had in the modern era.
What do you base that on?
The evidence. When have we ever had a president who has huge financial interests, hangs on to them, gains from them, while regulating in that same area? Jimmy Carter had a peanut farm. He put his peanut farm into a blind trust so that he severed the tie. There would be no question that he was making decisions about agriculture or farming or subsidies to benefit himself. Donald Trump is doing the opposite.
In the US Constitution, there's a section that prohibits elected officials from taking gifts or favours from foreign states without consent from Congress.
It's written right in the Constitution, in the Foreign Emoluments Clause, no cash benefits or goodies from foreign governments for an American president. It's so important that it's the only ethics rule that the founders and the framers wrote into our Constitution itself. And yet he's getting these large sums into his businesses from foreign entities. That's not right.
Some people have suggested to us that corruption is an abuse of high office and that therefore this activity by either the president or his family fits that definition of abuse of high office. What do you say to that argument that this is a form of corruption?
I mean, listen, there's nowhere in our Constitution that requires family to be disqualified from earning a living.
But the US Constitution does have the emoluments clause, which says that a US president shouldn't be accepting any gifts or material benefits from a foreign government.
Yeah. Well, it's much more narrowly defined that, because remember, the first term, a lot of these people felt the emolument clause was in violation, and time after time they found out it wasn't. So I think just to clump it together, is an error that the media does, and certainly the left does, because we actually would have had some type of criminal proceeding related to that. But listen, I think, they're private citizens. The government's not going to subsidize their income. They're creative people.
Are they private citizens? The President of the United States is not a private citizen.
But Don and Eric Jr., President of the United States, is not conducting these deals. It's Don.
But President Trump benefits from some of the World Liberty investments. He's not a private citizen.
Every president benefits from their policies. Every president benefits from a tax cut. Every president benefits from their policies in the long term. Trump's no different than any other president.
Has any other president benefited to this extent financially that President Trump has?
So your question is given that every president has benefited from their own policy decisions, has anyone done it as much as Trump? That I don't know.
It's impossible to put a precise figure on how much President Trump and his family have made since he retook office. A credible estimate from Forbes magazine puts Donald Trump's current net worth at $7.3 billion US. 12 months ago, it was just $3.9 billion. But there's a dazzling array of ventures: real estate, crypto, media, the Trump brand. Many have opaque corporate structures, so it's unclear how profits are distributed. It's this lack of transparency that deserves to be questioned.
It's early morning and we've come back to the White House for an opportunity to ask President Trump again some questions. These briefings and sessions with President Trump are often completely unpredictable. You don't know what sort of mood he'll be in. You don't know whether he'll take questions or not. He's likely to be more feisty than usual because news has just come out that he is suing the New York Times for $15 billion. And so, based on his past form, once he issues a writ like that, he usually comes out all guns blazing. So we're expecting this morning a particularly feisty President Trump. President, Mr. President. President Trump, you're generally regarded to be the wealthiest man who's ever occupied the White House.
I hope so.
How much wealthier are you now than when you returned to the White House?
Well, I don't know the deals I made for the most part, other than what my kids are doing. You know, they're running my business. But most of the deals that I've made were made before. And that's what I've done for a life. I built buildings. Like I'm building a building here. You know where I'm building? You know what? You see that area? Yeah. That is going to be the greatest ballroom anywhere in the world. And for 150, so it gives me pleasure to do it for the country.
But is it appropriate, President Trump, that a president in office should be engaged in so much business activity?
I'm really not. My kids are running the business.
But you are also...
You know what the activity... Where are you from?
I'm from the Australian Broadcasting Corporation Four Corners program.
You're hurting Australia, right? In my opinion, you are hurting Australia very much right now. But they want to get along with me. You know, your leader is coming over to see me very soon. I'm going to tell him about you. You set a very bad tone.
Well,
go ahead,
President Trump, when the UAE does a deal like that, when the UAE does a deal, what does it want in return?
Quiet.
Mr. President, what are you hearing about the operation in Gaza?
Some people have argued to us that it all happens out in the open. How can it be corruption when it's out there in the sunlight?
Well, it doesn't look as scary or nefarious, and in fact, it normalizes it, and it makes it look like it's okay. It perpetuates this idea that everybody does it. Nobody does it like this. As the American people, we deserve much better.
What would you do if he said, I'm going to sue you for calling me corrupt?
Bring it on.
You'd fight him in court.
I'm ready. I will look forward to the discovery of all of these issues that constitute his abuse of public power for personal gain.
These are genuinely dangerous times for the United States. American institutions are under pressure. Many Americans fear that democracy itself is being threatened. With a bitterly divided country and growing concerns from both the left and the right that there may be a breakdown of social cohesion, it's even more important than ever that Americans and their allies can trust implicitly in the accountability, transparency, and integrity of the highest office in the land.